How's it going, guys? It's Alex, and today we're talking about Sony's WH-1000XM4s. A long-awaited release. We've waited quite a long time for these guys, and they still have the horrible name, but they're here, and they're pretty impressive. So, used these for the past 2 weeks, and I thought it's a great idea to share what I think about them. So, let's jump into it. So, I've been a longtime fan of Sony's wireless headphones. I've owned the extra bass headphones, and I've also owned the XM3s, which are the predecessor to these guys. And those were pretty much the go-to pick for noise-canceling headphones over the past 2 years. So, right when I picked these up, when these first came out, I noticed that the boxes between the XM3s and XM4s are almost identical. I'm not saying that anyone can get confused, but they're very similar, and if you take them right out of the box, you might not even really know you're getting the new pair. You will have a hard time telling the difference between both of them when you look at them and their actual physical design. However, they did upgrade a couple things. So they increased the pleather padding around the headphones totally. So the ear cushions are now a bit cushier. There's more padding on the ear cushions. They added a little bit more cushioning on the headband, and they increased the actual headband itself, so they widened it. And these cushy pillow pads are still not necessarily a breathable fabric. They're nice, they don't necessarily get hot, but they're not as breathable as like a breathable like air fabric. The build frame seems to be about the same. However, what they did change is they changed the build finish. You're no longer getting that plastic or that shiny plastic. They now added this matte rubberized finish, and it looks really good. It should keep like all the nicks and blemishes better hidden. It also looks pretty sweet, so I'm a big fan. You will still find the same two colors. They have a black and a silver. I've got the black, and it still has all the copper Sony accents everywhere, but they did engrave the NFC logo. The joints are still sturdy, so you're getting that tactile feel when you adjust the actual headband, not like the Bose 700, which you kind of just have to guess how high each side is. I just prefer a design like this. And putting them on your head is a familiar feel. So the clamp pressure is nailed with these. Not too light, but enough to hold onto your head without feeling like they're gonna crush your brain or fly off. So using them with movies or listening to music for a prolonged time is not an issue, and the XM3s were still my top pick for traveling in comfort. And that's even without mentioning their noise canceling capabilities. Sony's also added a small sensor inside the ear cup, and what the sensor does is it basically now can detect when the headphones are on or off your head. So if you slide them off, music or content will automatically pause. Now, at least that's what's claimed. In my experience, it did have some hiccups just taking them straight up off your head and dropping them on your neck. Sometimes the music would continue playing, but maybe the software is gonna iron these things out. I think we're gonna find out, but for the most part, the XM3s were constantly getting firmware updates and are constantly supported. The button layout is also still really similar to the XM3s, with the noise canceling toggle, custom button, which can be remapped to a couple different shortcuts and assistants, and same with the power button, which is now alongside with a headphone jack, a USB-C port, and Sony is still including their microfiber carrying hard case, which also includes their comically short charging cable. Like, this thing is a joke, guys. Put a real cable in here so we can actually charge the headphones without having to sit inside an outlet. Now let's talk about controls. So controls are still touch controls, whether you like it or not. I've gotten really used to them, and I think they're actually really good. I've never been a fan of touch controls, but Sony does them good. I never felt like any of my inputs were laggy or inconsistent, and Sony has gotten this panel to be really responsive while you're using it. The touch panel, based on my knowledge, seems to be identical to the XM3s. I don't think they necessarily changed anything. It's still really responsive, and the inputs are not necessarily ever having any problems. But let's talk about the internal hardware updates with these guys. So they are now using Bluetooth 5.0 and finally using and supporting multi-device connectivity. So you can connect these guys to a phone, a laptop, multiple devices all at once, and they seamlessly switch between each other. It works really good. You can go straight from watching videos on one device to answering a phone call on the other without skipping a beat or the annoying Bluetooth switch. Speak to chat is another feature they added this year, so if you've got the headphones on and let's say you're listening to music and someone comes up to you, you can start talking and the headphones are basically gonna turn off noise canceling, pause your content, and basically turn on this ambient mode that amplifies the sounds coming into the headphones. So this feature was really cool with the AirPods. They're called transparency mode, and they have kind of a Sony version of this. I did find, however, if you put your hand over the ear cup, it is a bit faster. There's less latency than when you're using the speak to chat mode. Another thing to mention is I wouldn't necessarily recommend these for workouts. They are good in terms of clamp force. However, I wouldn't want to run with these or exercise in these because first of all, they have no IP rating. They're not sweat resistant, water resistant. They have no waterproof resistant at all. And then Sony's claiming that. So I wouldn't have these anywhere near water or in general working out with them. I don't think they're the greatest pair to use. But when it comes to noise canceling functionality, let's talk about that. They are really good at drowning out sounds. They're a bit better than the XM3s, and sound quality paired with the Sony Connect app is about what you'd expect from a generational upgrade in terms of headphones. They're not night and day. They're a bit better in certain frequencies, but they're not night and day. The mid-range is clear and it's not hollow. Highs in the music are crispy without any sharp piercing effect. And they also deliver the classic powerful bass that Sony has really done a great job with minimizing any muddiness. Soundtracks and movies also sound really good with these. You get a pretty immersive soundstage with these, and soundtracks sound really powerful and amazing with these guys. So I would recommend them for that as well. Music is also equally as good. So with the Sony Connect app, you still have that awesome flexibility with these. You can customize shortcuts, dial in a custom EQ, and have noise canceling turned on. Now, noise canceling is by far one of the best features with these headphones. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of people buy them is for their noise canceling capability. I'd say they have the upper hand on the XM3s. It drowns out more of that idle noise like the ones you'd hear from car engines or air conditioners. Voicers or loud sudden noises still get drowned out, but they're not as good as subtle background noises like the hums, for example. Battery life is still the same on the XM4, so you're getting 30 hours with noise canceling on and 36 hours with noise canceling off. Now, noise canceling does still have that vacuum feel, like you're getting sucked into space when you put it on. It's not extremely aggressive, but it's still there. I don't think I've found someone to do noise canceling yet. Maybe the AirPods do it somewhat better than Sony in terms of the vacuum feel because they use these vents that allow the air to not essentially, suck your eardrums out. But yeah, it's there. It still has that vacuum feel that I personally feel like I'm a bit sensitive to. So overall, what can you take home from this? So right off the bat, I can tell you these are extremely easy to recommend to anyone that are looking for a high-end pair of Bluetooth headphones that also want noise canceling capabilities. And I've always recommended the XM3s, so the XM4 are no different. But I will tell you one thing. If you're not necessarily needing the multi-device support or you don't really care about the extra little tweaks they added, I'd say go ahead and check out the XM3s. They have them all over eBay, all over Amazon, and they're actually discounted now. So maybe a pair of the XM3s is gonna get you farther than an XM4. But if you have the XM3s and are itching to throw another $350 out, these are an awesome pair to get. And what else can I say? Sony pretty much nailed it with the XM4s yet again, and recommend them. Catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.